Alright, guys, so thank you. Ačiū labai visiems, kas pasportavo. Thank you for your exercise. Let's do a round of applause to one another, to yourself, that you are so cool today. And let me introduce go-to-market versus scale stage. What are the key differences? And here on the very stage, we'd like to invite Mr. Justas Malinauskas in the right corner. Justai, please welcome. Okay, let's cheer him up. Let's cheer him up. Let's give a big round of applause. Put your hands together. Come on, guys. Come on. All right, all right. He's a co-founder and CEO of Whatagraph. Also, Donatas Smoilys. 5 wins, 4 knockouts. Donatai, prašau, co-founder and chief business development officer at Billow. All right. Also, Patrick Collins. Here we go. 0 losses, 0 fights, and 12 wins. Founder of Prospect Labs and head of a crowd of startup wise guys. And also, let's have here on the very stage the moderator, the GBD. How you pronounce? Sorry, man.
Daguené.
GB Daguené, Mr. Partner at 70 Ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble? Let's go.
Great. Great intro. Thank you. So before we get started, just a bit of context of why I wanted to have this panel today with you guys is the ecosystem, especially in the B2B space, had a great journey. For the past 9 years, I've been involved in the ecosystem. And at the beginning, it was really about going to market. That was really the main things we were burning our fingers with all the B2B startup founders. And now we are having also good problems, which is scaling. And I wanted to invite founders and advisors like Patrick's as well, who have been involved in the go-to-market phase a lot with different startups in Lithuania, but also different countries, to kind of talk about what are the key differences with go-to-market and scaling, basically, your sales team. And maybe before we get started, a very quick 2-3 minutes round of intros about what's your startup about, how many salespeople do you have now, and the traction, if you can share some numbers about the traction. Yeah. You want to start, Justas?
Yeah, I can do. So, hi everyone. Please don't mind if I start shaking or something. I just got my second vaccine today. So, yeah. So, short info about Watergraph and myself. So, we started 6 years ago. We're like 60-something people already in the company. So we're constantly hiring. So, and we're helping mainly businesses and marketing agencies to understand how their marketing performing or report to other stakeholders. So actually, we're automating all the process from data acquisition to visualization. But in simple words, how we say, so we help the people to shorten the time to get from random data into really good insights. So this is what we do. We're growing 2x for the past, I don't know, since we started, year over year. And in terms of revenues and people, so as you may understand, so we're already planning to grow also 2x in people count this year. So I will use the stage also for advertisement. So we're constantly hiring.
Super. Thank you, Justas.
This doesn't work, right?
Does it work now?
If this was Zoom, I would say, can you see me? Now it's weird to ask, can you hear me? But I can hear myself. Yeah. So my name is Donatas. I'm a co-founder of Billow, and we connect e-commerce brands with video content creators. We work in the United States. And if you were an e-commerce brand, you would need a lot of content for your e-commerce marketing, such as video ads. So we would leverage a lot of people like you who can create videos for certain products with your mobile device. And the brands would reward you with cash and products, and they would use your videos for their marketing. So we leverage this, we leverage the creator economy, and have been growing quite well since last year. And we're on the path, on the road to provide any e-com related video to e-commerce brands in the United States in the next 5 years.
Super, thank you. And Patrick?
So my name is Patrick Collins. I'm the founder of Prospect Labs, which is a LinkedIn lead generation software, and I'm also the head of growth at Startup Wise Guys. And so most of you will know Startup Wise Guys. It's one of the fastest growing B2B sales accelerators in Europe, and we'll also try and extend into Africa and South America as well. But one thing I wanted to say is it's a real privilege to be here because the Zoom fatigue in the last year has been insane. So actually thinking this morning, what shoes am I going to wear today was like a big thing for me in terms of a totally different layout. So being physically side by side and being here is very cool. The other thing is I'm English, JB's French, and we're here in Lithuania because we've chosen Lithuania as the startup area that we want to have an influence in, help to grow and to be part of. So it's a huge opportunity that every day I get this chance to add that little bit of value and knowledge to any Lithuanian startups that I can, just to have that impact, because I love living here, and I think we're all proud to bit by bit every day make an impact. But I think in terms of both businesses, Startup Wise Guys has about 40 employees now, grown very, very quickly, and we've had the same pain points as everybody: remote hiring, scaling, managing processes. But we're seeing a huge growth in terms of the opportunity with COVID was being able to work with teams from South America, work with teams from Africa that wouldn't usually physically travel to the Baltics, but now they can be on the online program. I've got such a diverse network of people we work with. So that's a bit about my background.
Great, thank you. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I wanted to ask Donatas and Justas, as founders of B2B SaaS businesses that have been through the go-to-market, and I was personally involved with you guys as well in that stage, in the go-to-market phase, is do you remember when you barely had a sales team, you were doing sales yourself? What kind of hacks did you use that cannot work anymore today once you have a larger sales team? So, I don't know, Justas or Donatas, if you want to share.
Good question. I can actually start, if you don't mind. So I think what also Donatas used, and I think we had the same hack, and apparently that hack is you. So we had, I think the first guy who actually helped us to navigate through that B2B sales cycle, especially for SaaS, we went to JB to consult with you. That was initial thing. But of course,
I didn't pay him to say that, but
yeah, but that's true actually, and I think why Donatas also did that and how you got involved actually. So I think you were the guy who started all the things in Lithuania, especially of the ecosystem, and now I think we're building that ecosystem. But so that was the first hack, of course. But then the bigger hack, what we used, and I think it still kind of works. Of course we scaled it a bit, but I think for us what really worked is. We started specializing the sales team itself. Nice. So not doing everything on one person. So like the person goes to, I don't know, prospecting, selling, maintaining a relationship, upselling, and etc. So then it's really hard for the people, of course, to focus to one thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what still works, I think, for us. I still apply that to even besides the sales. So actually to other positions in the company. When the person has like exact thing what he needs to care about, then he's super focused on doing that really well. And for example, when we have like sales development reps, client partners, as we call them now, aka account executives. So people have like either they need to close things, either need to prospect, either they need to research on the leads. So then they're really doing really well. So I think that the biggest advice what I can give is it still works all the time. So give the people the focus, and especially for yourself. So I think that's the main hack.
So specialize early. That's a good one. Yeah, and then
even if you can't afford it, if you think so, so then divide the day into like half of the day you're prospecting, half of the day you're selling. But don't do the thing all the time like prospecting and selling on the one go, because you can't focus that fast, I think.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you, Justas. Donatas?
Yeah, I would like to second that. I think what we've learned with you and 70 Ventures, JB, is the mindset, how you should focus on the customer. And we hear that a lot of times. You know, everyone is saying that, all the books are writing that, but are we really doing that? And to really do that, you have to implement the strategies and tools that other people know and did well. So that was really, really helpful. And I think what is also good that once you learn that outreach Bible, that you have a specialized sales team, that you have certain people doing certain things in certain steps in this sales journey, you can reorganize it and adapt it to your own organization. So we learned that you need a lead research specialist to find specific leads that a sales development representative has to reach out to, and then the account executive has to close the deal. In our case, it actually worked that we can just have a lead research specialist who can find the leads, and then a sales development representative actually can reach out and close the deal. So we ended up with like 2 positions. And then we realized that we are a marketplace, so we have 2 sides. We have the demand, which are looking for a certain service, and we have the supply, who are providing the certain service. And then we thought we should definitely apply the same sales logic when looking for the supply, for the creators, actually the people who can use their mobile device, film themselves with a certain product, and brands can then benefit from that, from the video. So we applied that logic, and it's working now, and we're scaling it. So that was definitely a very good hack.
I think I can add a bit what Donatas actually started. So I think it's really good what you mentioned. I never thought about it to mention that out loud. But I think ICP, so ideal customer profile. So I think that's the first hack actually, which I learned from you. So we need to, again, as you said, every book writes it, but no one does that right. So identify the customer, like to who you're getting first. Then it's really easy to align research, outreach, selling, maintaining everything. So then you know everything about a customer. So actually, it's like really customer centricity in starting from the product, but also in the sales. So every time you're really centric about the customer, not, I don't know, money, something. So that's, I think, the most important part within the sales cycle.
That's very interesting. Donatas, you want to add something?
Just 2 more words. So what it helped us find is that
that's 5 already.
Following up what Justas was saying. So it helped us find traction and the right language, what is triggering our customers, because we had a general idea what we're doing, we had a general understanding, but it was way too broad. So testing different and bouncing off different language of you're assuming what customers are you targeting and see what they're responding to, and that's how you adapt your language and also adapt your product. And we found ourselves in the United States, which was crazy for us. We thought it was such a huge market. Yes, well, all the signs are saying go there. So,
Patrick,
and I think one point on that, the variable that so many people get wrong is not email is the wrong channel or LinkedIn or cold calling is the wrong channel. It's how they approach it is the wrong way. So I'll speak to so many early stage startups that say, we're under pressure for results, we tried email, it didn't work, we're trying something else. And then I check the emails and they go, no wonder it didn't work, it's the way you're writing. So my advice to everybody would be the one hack is get the core skills of how to send emails, how to connect on LinkedIn, how to pick up the phone, how to write a blog, and then apply it to how you're trying to grow. But everybody tries to do the same thing. They try and learn how to do email campaigns whilst trying to get results from email campaigns. And your whole team as a benchmark can be experts at automation, at sales, CRMs, at everything. It's just a foundation regardless of the area you go. But a lot of time is wasted saying, email wasn't for us. And then a good consultant will come in and say, email's the best channel for you. You just need to learn how to do it. So my one big hack would be get the core foundations of things like whole team should be experts at HubSpot CRM or Pipedrive or whatever, because why not? You should be experts at that. You should be experts at getting the most out of finding your target audience. And then when you say, okay, I think we're going to test LinkedIn, it's from a foundation of expertise, not a foundation of learning the channel. And I think that's really critical.
Yeah, but I would say even persistence is more important than be an expert, because you can become an expert when you're persistent. Because what I see when I'm also speaking with other founders, they're like, yeah, email doesn't work for us or something. But I tell them, look, but you need to be persistent. You need to try, 10,000 emails. Then you will learn what's not working. Of course, iterating on the process, not like sending the same to every one of them. But iterating and becoming better, it works eventually.
Yeah, I think the key is, I always say these 3 things, the P's, which is the persistence, to just keep trying, but then polite as well. If you keep trying and trying, but you're just rude or you get needy or aggressive, it doesn't quite rude, so it's polite. And this little one that's pushy, which is a little bit different to persistent. Pushy is when somebody says, catch up with me next week, and you email them, they don't reply. chase them up again. Don't give up. And that's that little sort of attention to detail that you have your team that are good at the skills, they're trying something out, but they don't just give up because of some failure. And particularly for cold calling or just picking up the phones, people quit after a day and say, this is not for me. Quit after a month when you've consistently tested something, you've got the data. But that early stage hack is just not giving up on a channel. But the opposite side of that is not testing 10 channels at the same time. So there's a really good book called Traction, and just telling you, like, out of all the 15 or 20 growth channels you have, focus on 3 or 4 max and do really good things at it. Don't have 10 and have 10 Twitter followers, 10 Instagram followers, 1 half-written blog post, and say we're doing everything. Because that damages your sales impact, not improves it. So have 1 really good LinkedIn page, 1 really good Twitter channel, and maybe emailing, and then go all in on those 3, just to start with. When you've had more resources and a bigger marketing team, you can scale, but don't think you have to do everything at the same time because you have to have a Facebook page. Find the 3 to 4 channels that you want to test and really go for it, would be my advice.
This is very interesting, and I'm not sure why I want to
go for it, guys. That's
I really want to say
please jump in.
So I think we should all question ourselves, can we actually write in a way that is very structured and rings a bell to someone? How good are our writing skills? How good are our storytelling skills? I think this is something that we should practice every week. And we have an email template workshop every Thursday at 11 o'clock. And before the workshop, there will be like a case when someone brings up and say, well, let's bounce some ideas, let's criticize each other's writing. I personally, I learn this all the time. I think it works everywhere, especially in sales when you're delivering a message, like storytelling and writing. So, you look up to people like Malcolm Gladwell and, listen to what they're saying. I think the craft of writing is extremely important, and the education part should be aligned with, let's test a lot of things.
Yeah. So what are the best practices that you follow when you read and again give feedback to each other in that weekly meeting?
So probably at the end of the day is just open rate, reply rate, after.
What about the drafting? About the copywriting? What are the best practices that you follow, or how do you run this one?
So what we do is we get the whole team involved on a specific use case that we want to, let's say, test something new or improve something. So we'd give a lot of context before the workshop, and we'd expect people to come in with ideas and prepared, and not to brainstorm in the workshop. And then we implement it and then test and see what happens.
Super. So fast iteration, fast testing.
And one quick question, what's the environment like? Because a lot of people are scared to come up with a stupid idea, which is actually the best idea. So I remember I worked with one startup, and the founder would come in, he would put on a clock, and he'd say, 10 minutes, anything you can think of, nothing's bad ideas. And he would write everything, everybody would shout everything, and then we'd stop and say, okay, now start thinking. But that 10 minutes, it's a safe zone. And it was a really cool thing where everybody would shout about a new brand idea, a new logo, a new whatever. And I think it's really important if you have something like that, it's a safe environment where you let people say, be creative, stretch that muscle of how to really go for it. And I think that's a really good idea that I'm going to copy. Thank you.
Cool. And
go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what you're saying we're doing, and what we say is, we have this saying that, it sounds stupid, but A/B test is the best, and then we start arguing. I have this idea, I have this idea. Well, A/B test is the best. Let's go and see. So.
Yep, and that's our opinion.
Just one thing on that. So I was speaking to a team yesterday about the email marketing, and he said to me, what do you think of my emails? And the first question was, would you like to receive that? No. So why are you writing it? So people copy this template from HubSpot of top 10 email templates to use. Exactly. Copy it, change the name, and think it's going to work. And then everybody sends the same rubbish. And I just said to him, just write from the heart. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you want to speak to them? And my key takeaway for emails is just simply don't say everything in the email what you do. Just say you'd like to talk to them about something that can help them. And that's more interesting for me. And the other thing is just keep it short. Short is better.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on that. And one thing we learned from JB is that when we write an email sequence, and before we send it out, we read it out loud to one another. And then, does it sound human? Does it sound like a robot? Conversational. So that's very important.
And JB, I watched one of your talks about email marketing, and you said only send an email if it's going to add value. And I started using that a lot because I see everybody sends the first email full of value, second email, case studies, third email, hey, just checking, did you get my email? Fourth email, just checking, did you get my previous email? It's like, why are you messaging somebody just to bug them? So if you're going to write something to add value every single time, email, LinkedIn, or even a call, always give something to them. And I think that's the worst habit I see. Yeah. 7 emails, checking if they got the previous email. Like, cut it out.
No, that's, I think, the simplest trick in that part in cold email is it's not because you are behind the screen that you are not awkward. So always imagine that you have a face-to-face conversation, basically, right? So that's why we check if it's conversational. And then regarding those follow-ups, right? And when I get these emails like just popping my email on the top of your mailbox. Now let's put this in a face-to-face environment. Just popping myself in front of you to see if you heard what I said before, right? I will never do this in a face-to-face environment. So don't do it by email. You're still awkward.
And usually those emails, what you get, I still see people doing that. There's plenty of information about that, but some people send you an email which is like, I don't know, 2A4 format long.
Right.
I instantly like open it and they close it. Like,
I think enough talking about what doesn't work or what people do wrong. Let's talk about what also you did well and what you see well. I mean, I know, Justas, your team nailed it at cold calling, right?
Yeah.
While everybody is feeling that this channel is dead.
Yeah, everyone
you just nailed it, right? So maybe you can share a few of the success stories there.
So as you said, everyone was saying that cold calling is dead. Everyone is on emails now. Like literally, everyone is on emails, LinkedIn's, whatever. We said, okay, so it's everyone on LinkedIn's and emails. We start cold calling, and we started cold calling hardcore, like literally 200 calls per day per rep. So we do like, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 calls per day on all the team. So we even tried the power dialer, which are used in the cold calling centers, which are like literally connecting with, like, it was a weird experience for the team. But
what did you learn, and what are the best practices that you kind of implemented and are still part of,
So still, again, we don't sell, in cold calls is also important, the same rules as in emails, actually, that you don't sound like pushy and salesy, I don't know how to even explain it, but you try still to provide the value as much as you can up front. And try to get the background of the person. So you still are polite, getting those things done. But usually there is no, like, again, one size fits all, I think, for everyone. We just iterated on the go, what was working. And actually, people are constantly changing the ideas, what actually worked at the last call. So, like, for example, they just got, like, really good meeting booked at that call. Instantly, they shared the information with other team members, not like waiting for Friday, Monday, or something when you forget. So it's also, again, one value what we try to provide in the company. Act on the spot with your, like, actually feeling what you had that time. So people also shared what worked on that time, what emotion, what message.
Feedback,
and then the people iterates really fast. So actually we iterate, I think, like, I don't know, 25 times per day. And sometimes we go back to the same and again. So usually when we train also people, we don't give them only the playbook. We give them a shadowing experience, like they listen how others do that. And then they start feeling the same and they all sound the same, but all the time the call is different. Not like, hello, we're calling from Watergraph if you're interested or something. But sometimes they're not even saying the name of the company. They're like straightforward with the problem. Hey, I saw your LinkedIn message that you're really interested in tools like reporting. And is it the case still? Yeah, where you found that message, but then you got into a conversation. So it's really important to be still human on the conversation. So I think that's the biggest takeaway. And again, don't write off the channels with others say don't work. Because you don't need to do that like other telecommunication companies do that for you. So they call up and they're like, yeah, you want to buy internet? No. So
good, great stuff. And Donatas, I know you guys, I mean, obviously you have a video product and you embraced video as well in your sales process for the onboarding, but also for the outreach and all that. Can you maybe share some of the tips on what worked with video for you guys?
So what worked was what we were selling, we were advertising. So we're still a very strong inbound product. And when our value, well, what we're selling is a video for your e-commerce ads. So we used videos to attract those e-commerce ads where they would run those videos that they buy from us. So that made a lot of sense. What else we did was we applied like FAQ, which was also a video on our own page because we're encouraging brands to use videos for their own FAQs. So we made ourselves all about video, and then we started selling like video follow-ups, etc.
Yep.
And we want to implement more and more and more video because it's so easy to consume. So maybe just a key takeaway, you have to be what you're selling, because if you're not, no one is going to believe you.
And can I just make a point on that? So many startups I work with, and I say, what does your software do? It disrupts people who are using spreadsheets to use software. Cool. Can I have a look at your sales CRM? We use spreadsheets. Well, do you not want to use software if you're telling people to disrupt software? So even if you're not, don't have your own product that you can use yourself, make sure you're very technical in what you're doing if you're trying to disrupt an audience who is not technical. Otherwise, it's just totally hypocritical.
Super. So I think we need to wrap this up. So a few takes away I think I can take from this panel is specialize early. Even if you don't have a specialized sales team, specialize your day into some task and focus on setting targets so you can scale later. Be customer-centric from day one. Don't give up on channels, or don't make ideas on channels that doesn't work because of this and that. If you are most likely not having success on your cold emails or cold call, it's because you are narcissistic and you talk too much about your product. And you need to learn, again, if you are customer-centric, to talk about your customers. And yeah, test new stuff and basically build on that, right? So thank you for sharing all your insights, guys. Thank you for coming to the panel. And yeah, see you around, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Jimmy.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you very much. It was a very nice discussion. Thank you one more time.